As we age, it's inevitable that our eyes change. We lose the ability to focus over a wide range of distances. This is mainly caused by two things: hardening of the lens and weakening of the eye muscles. As a result, it becomes necessary to use magnification to see the fine details involved in scale modeling. When people reach the conclusion that actually being able to see what they're doing is helpful, varies from person to person. Some people see the benefits early on, and others wait until it's absolutely necessary. In my case, I began using magnification very early, when I was in dental school. At that time, very few dentists used loupes. Out of our entire faculty of my dental school, only 3 of our clinical instructors wore them. Coincidentally, their performance was always excellent. Even though I was nearsighted and my up-close vision was excellent, it seemed obvious to me that the more you could see, the better. So I invested in a pair of loupes. I remember when I first started wearing them down in the clinic, an instructor came over to me and cautioned me that if I kept using them, I'd get hooked on them. My first thought was, oh, you mean I get addicted to actually seeing what I'm doing? Of course, I kept that bit of sarcasm to myself, as well as the loupes that I routinely wore for dentistry and modeling. I wore this same pair all the way until having cataract surgery a few years ago, and I could never really get them properly adapted, so I switched to these. I changed from a 2x magnification to a 4.5 magnification, which is equivalent to about a +16 diopter pair of reading glasses. If you'd like to know more about this subject, I put up a web page explaining the difference between magnification and diopter measurements, as well as reading glasses, optovisors, and loupes. The link is in the description below. Needless to say, increasing the magnification from 2x to 4.5 greatly reduced my field of vision as well as the depth of field. And that abrupt change has prompted some interesting observations over and above the obvious magnified detail on the model. When you work in such an up-close small space, everything obviously gets magnified, including all the flaws that now seem to take on more significance. It becomes very easy to lose your perspective. Every little scratch gives pause to that thought, oh well, you've just really screwed that up, or great, now how am I going to fix that? But if you take a step back, maybe go refill your coffee cup, and return to the bench to look at it with your normal eyes, everything looks keen and peachy. Now, I'm not recommending that you should ignore flaws or mistakes, but I am suggesting that this sort of observation could function as a reminder as to what you're really trying to achieve with your model, and ultimately, what is it you want to get out of the hobby in general. It's easy to get caught up in the micro view, lose your perspective, create an artificial restriction, and wind up going down a dead-end detour. So the key is, while you're focused on all the small things, immersed in the minutiae, it's up to each of us to choose the bits that we want to make significant. In other words, to pay attention to the macro view as well as the micro view, not only with the model, but the time we're spending, not just the quality of the model, but the quality of the time we've spent. It's a good reminder that we have the ability to choose what we want to say with our completed creation, and how we transform that energy from a technical exercise to more of an expression of who we are as an individual, and perhaps have a brush with the energy of what we might term as art. The byline to Scale Model Workshop is time well spent. I chose this because for me, this really does express the true value of what this hobby is. It reminds me that if I'm careful to maintain my personal integrity and be honest with myself as to why I've chosen to engage in this particular activity as an avenue to express my own individual vision of creativity, then the time spent was truly worthwhile.